am Nat. He's Matt. We've got your geek news right here. And right now, we're bringing you Batman. Well, The Dark Knight. I'm sorry. The Dark Knight Rises.
And I've got to say, so Dark Knight, Nolan, come on. Your trilogy draws to a close, not with a bang, but with Bruce Wayne retiring on a sunny Italian patio.
Aw, come on, Matt.
Yeah,
come on.
This is the thing. Joel Schumacher ruined Batman. But he did not get the character so wrong, so incorrect, fundamentally, as Christopher Nolan did. I need to start by saying I pretty much hated this movie. It pissed on Batman Begins with no shame. It pisses on No Man's Land, Knightfall, Knightquest, and Knightsend. All those comic stories at once. I walked out of this film somewhere between a stupor and a rage because it made Batman Begins, the best of the three, it made Batman Begins less. I was really
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, on the almost opposite side of the spectrum, I'm going to go ahead and say I definitely didn't hate this film. It, admittedly wasn't my favorite comic book movie of 2012, but it definitely had its highlights. And I will say is Batman, well, specifically the Dark Knight series, has a spectacular cast. I think every film has had a spectacular cast. Dark Knight Rises is no different. I still consider it to be one of the best examples of a superhero movie, playing it as a very dark, serious, cinematic kind of film instead of a fun, cheesy, gimmicky film that most comic book movies tend to have. So, I mean, Dark Knight, going along with that trend, was still epic. It was an epic film, an epic experience with a fantastic cast.
Well, I mean, they went for real, but that didn't make it good. I mean, this is a character that's established, and they need to treat him like the Batman. And the Batman should not be retired at the start of a Batman film. With Bruce, if Bruce is younger than 50 years of age, he's not allowed to be retired at the beginning of the movie. 8 years of kicking ass to earn the injuries, the lack of cartilage, the chronic pain, that would have been fine. But 8 years of moping and hiding at Wayne Manor because some chick got blown up by the Joker, that's not Batman. I don't know what movie this was about. I don't know what main character Chris Nolan put in here, but it was not Batman. Number two,
I get it. You're going from the perspective of an Uber fan who has read every single piece of Batman canon out there. No, I understand that. But what I want to say is Batman, to me, was portrayed, the most human I think I've ever seen him. He was at his most vulnerable, I feel like, in this movie. And the fact that he was so vulnerable and so human made him really likable. I mean, I think that's something that Nolan has done really well with his films. He's taken the Batman storyline, that universe, and turned it into something that could be applied to, I don't know, real life. That's what he did, right? So, I mean, Batman fails.
The problem
and then he succeeds. And, what you like about Batman is the fact that he's human. He's not some, alien or some magical, radioactive, superpowered thing. He's human, but it's his sheer determination, resources, and brilliance that gets him through everything, right?
This movie did not begin with a man with determination. Let's talk about the arc that Batman goes on in the first act, where from his weakened state, hobbling around Wayne Manor, he must once again become the Batman. That's the arc of the first act. But oh wait, that's also the arc of the third act. What? The broken Batman must become the Batman again. It's just how many times are you going to do this in one movie, Chris Nolan and Christian Bale? I could not give a shit about the second time he did it because he had already done it in that movie. It's not like he did it in the movie before. He did it in that movie. We just saw that happen. It was awful. That was nothing short of, I'm not going to say it was a bad idea. It's a mistake. That is an actual filmmaking mistake. Someone needs to take the writer and director of Batman to school on how to make a movie. Because that was wrong. Nothing short of wrong. And did anyone else have a problem with Tom Hardy's constant Bill Cosby impression? Because I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting for Bane.
I was distracted by that. Yeah. It made me wonder, is that how Bane is supposed to sound?
I was waiting for Bane to ask the people of Gotham for some Jell-O pudding the entire time. It was ridiculous. And when Bane broke the bat's back, except you don't really know anyone's back was broken until an Arab prison doctor 20 minutes later tells you, oh, yeah, your back's broken, and we never see it.
Okay.
In the comic book, no, wait, Nat, you gotta wait, because in the comic book, when Bane picks up Batman and crushes him on his knee, the bat is broken in this beautiful frame, and for a split second on camera, you see that shot, and then it disappears, and there's no pomp and circumstance, there's no expression on Christian Bale's face as his back is broken. There's no crack, there's no snap, there's no earth-shattering end to the
I get what you're saying, but what I am going to say to that is a few different things. One is, yeah, that moment was epic in the comics because for a little while you see that and it's, obviously plastered on the cover of comics and you're thinking, oh my God, is that the end of Batman? In the movie, you don't really have that luxury. You don't have that, and then what? Bruce Wayne or Christian Bale is going to disappear for, I don't know, X number of minutes until you realize, oh wait, he's fine, and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. So, again, in the context of a movie, real life, making it seem like it could happen in the real world, hypothetically. I don't know. I mean, when Bane takes him and snaps him over his knee, I actually thought it looked like it broke his back, personally.
It didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. It's one of the things that just fell under lame. Another thing that fell under lame for me was that remote calculations done 5 months ago on the half-life of a jury-rigged bomb are accurate to the second? What was that about? That was mental. I'm not even going to go into the direction of this whole autopilot thing.
Yeah. No,
but The Dark Knight, that first fight with Bane was really cool. I mean, the fight scenes in this movie kind of looked like toddlers fighting. Neither of them really looked like ninjas who had trained their whole lives because it just looked like babies mashing at each other. There was one point actually where Bane
That's so funny.
It was the worst fight choreography I've seen in a movie in a long time. But
seriously,
the thing that bothered me a lot is in the first fight that the Dark Knight detective doesn't think to punch the man with the breathing apparatus in the breathing apparatus. He needs an Arab prisoner doctor to tell him that? And then Bane is shot dead by Catwoman? Catwoman? Come on!
I mean, okay, well, actually, on the topic of Catwoman, I know a lot of, the controversy around this film was, how dare they? Not even how dare they, but will she be able to even compare to Michelle Pfeiffer as the Catwoman? I was skeptical about it. I'll admit I was skeptical about it. Now, Michelle Pfeiffer will always be, the most epic Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman ever. But I'm going to also say that Anne Hathaway wasn't horrible. I didn't think she was horrible. I thought she looked great. She was a total smartass and whatever, all that kind of stuff. And again, like every single character in Chris Nolan's Batman films, she's not a black or white good guy or a black or white villain. And again, I think that's why that made her so likable.
The thing I don't understand is how Bruce Wayne is even willing to talk to her after she lays a trap that gets him broken and thrown into prison for 90 days.
Yeah.
Like, why does he do anything other than walk up to her and shoot her in the face? Like, she's a bad guy, clearly.
Well, I guess because he realizes she's not a bad guy, because you see him, and sometimes Batman does some stuff where you're like, that was kind of shitty. Yeah, but you're the good guy. I'm every character in Chris Nolan's Batman
I'm going to say the shittiest thing Batman does is leave Gotham City to the vile and horrible corruption and the criminals while he retires in luxury on some Italian patio. That's not Batman. Joel Schumacher screwed up a lot about Batman. Nipples on the bat suit, friggin' roller skates, whatever craziness he did. He understood Batman does not give up. And Chris Nolan decided to throw this thing in there about, as a symbol, I can be uncorruptible. And like, yeah, okay, let's throw...
Okay, well, obviously he threw that in there because of that completely heart-wrenching scene, tying it back to that with Alfred, where Michael Caine does an amazing job with... I did. I actually teared up at that moment because...
Really?
You just... Yeah,
because none of those characters had anything resembling motivation in that scene.
Seriously, to me, Michael Caine was so compelling... I don't know. I did. I was completely moved by it. Okay. Absolutely.
The performances were lovely, but the scene, that particular scene, didn't turn. Nothing in the beginning of that scene made any sense by the end of that scene. The motivations of neither character made any sense. That scene was so confusing and terrible, horribly written, but Michael Caine is such an amazing friggin' actor that that scene was beautiful. But the scene made no bloody sense. At all.
Interesting. Well, it tied really well with the end of the film, though, even though you hated it, and maybe it goes to get who Batman is supposed to be in the comics, but in the film, yeah, unfortunately, the happy ending angle, I thought it kind of worked. I mean, if Chris Nolan is never, ever, ever doing a Batman film again, that's not a wretched way to leave it open-ended.
No, it's true. If Batman had really died, it would have worked for me. Because Robin was cool, right up until he was called Robin. He was very cool.
Robin was in the movie? What?
Well, I mean, you know.
Are you talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah. I mean, there was a point there.
That whole thing at the end was very convoluted to me. It was so convoluted. To me, you kind of got the impression where you're like, oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt knows he's the Batman and knows what he's supposed to symbolize, whether it's Bruce Wayne or not. Like, you kind of got that element. It's like, it doesn't matter that it's Bruce Wayne. It's who Batman is and what he represents to the people and all that kind of stuff and all the stuff that he does. So I just thought it was just him kind of symbolically passing the torch to this guy to take his role. Yeah,
which is what happened. But the problem with Batman is that that's not it at all. That's not Batman. Batman is one crazy bastard who is so obsessed with the death of his parents that he will do nothing with his life except avenge them, protect the innocent, and die doing it. That's Batman. And so this guy who decides, a shift of doing it for a year, catching the Joker, giving up for 8 years, showing up, catching Bane. I basically was Batman for maybe 14 months total. That's not Batman. I'm sorry. Batman Begins set up a perfect legend for who this character was going to be. And if those 8 years in between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises was him going out, kicking ass, getting broken, getting shattered, getting fixed, and becoming this, like, beaten but strong man, this Batman that we know and love, and then Bane breaks him, that would have worked. The one thing that really screwed this movie up for me was the whole idea that 8 years have passed, but we're going to start the movie like 2 minutes have passed. Like, they had a terrible idea for how this movie starts and spent the rest of the movie trying to rescue it.
Interesting. You know the part that kind of messed me up in the movie?
What?
The part where Miranda / Marion Cotillard all of a sudden is the most mastermindful bad guy in the entire film, where you get to the whole movie, she's kind of like the love interest, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and I fooled you, this is all my plan, and I'm Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and I was kind of like, okay, so it was exciting initially, because I was like, oh my god, like, I know that there's their history, and they're supposed to end up together in the comics, and all that great stuff, but in the film, there was nothing leading up to that. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. It just smacks you in the face, and you're like, that's cool! Wait, what? That made no sense at all.
I spent the whole movie waiting for her to be revealed as Talia. Because I knew there was going to be some Ra's al Ghul, and I refuse to say Ra's al Ghul, some Ra's al Ghul element to this. And as soon as I knew that there was a woman who came from meager beginnings, and they were really playing this up, and then when the love interest began, it was very obvious to me that this was Talia. And so when it was revealed, and Bane was once again reduced to the role of someone's friggin' bodyguard.
Babysitter. Yeah.
He was Poison Ivy's babysitter, and now he's friggin' Talia's babysitter. I couldn't believe that happened to Bane again.
And they made him so vulnerable, which was so bizarre, because I never thought he was a vulnerable, ever sympathetic character. Ever. And then, on top of that, what happened to the whole Venom aspect? I mean, isn't he supposed to be on some sort of crazy drug that makes him super crazy and super strong?
Yeah, they swapped it out for morphine. Weak. But, there were a lot of weak decisions in this movie that, to me, made it a very weak film. But, most of all, a really weak way to end what could have been a great series. Dark Knight sort of wavered a bit in that Batman sort of sucked. Everything else around Batman was great. Christian Bale really sort of screwed the pooch there.
He didn't sound as horrible as he did in the second film.
No, he sounded okay in this one, actually. Well, and plus the fact that there were 2 scenes in the whole movie where Batman actually, showed up. The rest of it was Christian Bale.
Interesting. I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, so, the fact that Batman only happens twice makes it kind of hard for him to screw it up. But, it was a whimper. It was not the way this series should have or could have ended. And the only thing I can hope is that the Batman reboot they're going to do in 2015, what's the story? What's the timeline? Who cares? What? As long as Warner Brothers can make some money off their only reliable comic book cash cow. And if they're smart, the new Superman movie... Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're already doing it. And if they're smart, the new Superman movie will tie into the Justice League, and DC can just rip off the formula that Marvel has worked so hard to perfect. Because as of right now, DC's got nothing. This new Man of Steel movie, this could suck.
It could, but I mean, it's got Chris Nolan and Zack Snyder as the team behind it, and I mean, both of them are pretty epic in their own right.
But Superman Returns was completely screwed up by the guy who made X-Men 2.
Yeah, well...
So think about it. Think about it.
Again, Hollywood, no new ideas. Really Where are your freaking new ideas, Hollywood? That's all I'm going to say.
You know what? Where's the Wonder Woman movie? Come on. You've got a great script from Joss Whedon. Make something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, seriously, take some freaking risks out there instead of rebooting, redoing, renewing, whatever. Movies we've already seen before. Come on.
Yeah, give me a Flash movie. Give me Supermax. Give me the story about Green Arrow going to a super maximum security prison. That's the stuff that would be really cool to see.
Exactly. Give us more new fodder to complain about. Instead of having to re-complain about things that you're already creating and have created.
Yep. Anyway, I was hugely disappointed by this film. I thought they could have done better, they should have done better, and I'm kind of embarrassed for everyone involved. That's
fair. I, again, didn't hate it as much as you, was not offended as much as you, but I was indifferent. I agree. In that sense, Batman... didn't end in a way that I thought, oh my god, like The Matrix, where I was like, my life has changed. My life was definitely not changed by the Dark Knight series.
Think about how you felt at the end of Avengers.
I know.
And compare that to how you felt at the end of the third and final Batman film. Like, they screwed the pooch. Nothing else. This movie was a failure to me. It's making lots of money. Great. It won't make Dark Knight money, but it'll make some money.
Oh my god, I can't believe it's coming. What, 2015? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 3 more years. A whole other one.
Jeez.
Go figure.
All right. Whatever.
Anyway,
as always, let us know
Batman.
what you thought. Let us know if you're completely with Matt, if you're completely with me, if you're somewhere in between, something completely different, whatever the case may be.
Or if you actually loved it.
Yeah, let us know. Again, join the conversation on yourgeeknews.com. Join us on Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. And let's hash it out.
Absolutely. And we'll be back with some more reviews, some more previews. There's some exciting stuff coming this year. Still to come. I'm mostly excited about James Bond.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's pretty thrilling. So the Skyfall, when Skyfall hits, there's going to be some exciting stuff up on Your Geek News.
For sure.
And, let us know what else you want to see this year. I mean, The Bourne Legacy just came out and things like that. So there are some other things we could do. But really, anything short of Bond, I'm not super excited for this year. But we'll see.
Sounds good.
All right, so let us know what you guys thought on yourgeeknews.com.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.